Shri Dr. Ali Hamzah, Chief Secretary to the Government of Malaysia, Her Excellency Ismat Ada Sadiq, Minister of State of the Ministry of Public Administration of Bangladesh, Mr. Hong Ki-won, Ambassador for International Relations of Incheon Metropolitan City, Ms. Mariam Barthelemy, Director of the Division for Public Administration and Development Management of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Symposium on Building Effective, Accountable, and Inclusive Institutions and Public Administration for Advancing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The first symposium on public governance for the SDGs hosted in and for the Asia-Pacific region. I hope you have enjoyed your stay in Incheon thus far. We will now begin with the opening ceremony. I would like to first invite our gracious host, His Excellency Mr. Shim Bo-kyun, Vice Minister of the Ministry of the Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea, to deliver his opening remarks at the podium.
Good morning, Honorable Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to meet you. I am Shim Bo-kyun, the Vice Minister of the Ministry of the Interior and Safety. First, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Marion Barthelemy, the Director of EKDM of UN DESA, and Chung Jae-geun, the head of UNPO, and other staff members who have contributed to organizing today's event. Also, I would like to thank Hong Ki-won, the Ambassador for International Relations of Incheon Metropolitan City, His Excellency Dr. Ali Hamzah, Chief Secretary to the Government of Malaysia, and Her Excellency Ismat Ada Sadiq, Minister of State, Ministry of Public Administration, Bangladesh, who attended today's symposium, and other distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, what comes to mind when you think of the Republic of Korea? Do you think of Samsung, Hyundai, and other Korean companies? Maybe young people are thinking of K-pop as well as Korean dramas, such as Daejangdum or Winter Sonata, so on. However, in the early 20th century, Korea was a little known, impoverished, and colonized country in the struggle of imperialist powers. Although Korea won independence by the end of Second World War, the subsequent Korean War for 3 years took everything away. Menon, Indian ambassador to UNCLOS, who visited Korea on 8th October 1955, just after the Korean War, said at the time, expecting democracy to bloom in Korea was like expecting a rose to bloom in a trash can. However, the cultural pride of our ancestors, which has been keeping independence for 5,000 years, can overcome those crises eventually. In the early 2000s, when Korea became an economic giant, Korea was faced with another challenge. Based on economic development stages, digitization was poised to surpass industrialization as the engine of our national growth. So we have started aggressively investing in ICT at the time. As a result, the internet and the mobile phones have become widespread, and Korea enjoys the highest internet and mobile phone using rate in the world. Based on this development, about 20,000 e-government services, such as electronic civil service and electronic customs clearance, have been developed and are now being widely used. It made our lives in Korea more convenient and citizen-oriented. For example, citizens can pay taxes or register a simple business process at their home comfortably. Being recognized in the international community for such efforts, the United Nations evaluated that Korea has established the world's most developed level of e-government services and infrastructure. And the Korean administration has won the Open Useful Reusable Data Index by OECD in 2015 and also 2017 evaluation. Nationally, the Moon Jae-in administration ushered in a new era of unprecedented hope and change. People over 1 million who gathered at the Gwanghwamun Plaza for starting a candlelight revolution to make our nation better. What is surprising about this historic event is that the nation managed to overcome the crisis within our democratic and the constitutional system under the rule of law without any kind of violence. The subsequent election of President Moon signaled the start of a new chapter in Korean democracy. Since taking office last May, his administration's top priority has been to develop and sustain the vision of the people first in Korea. How to explain the peaceful nature of the candlelight revolution? There were many factors, but I think one of the most important factors was government innovation through digital government. Government innovation using ICT technology has much raised public expectations of ordinary people, such as transparent and open policy making, providing more convenient services and increasing online governance for the public. So in Korea, I think the opaque process would not exist anymore, because many of the nation's policy-making processes have taken place with the participation of the people of all levels. So transparency, efficiency, and inclusiveness are the cornerstones of the new administration's policy on public governance. I think that today's symposium on building effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions for advancing SDGs implementation in Asia and the Pacific is closely related to government's policy. In particular, I know that this symposium is a very meaningful event in a series of 4 UN regional symposiums, which were first launched last year by UNDESA for the implementation of the SDGs. I know that there was the study tour yesterday before today's event. It would allow participants to explore how local governments respond to various crises, such as natural and man-made disasters, and gave them a glimpse of the so-called smart city, the livable, connected, and sustainable city of the future. It also made participants learn sustainable waste management and water treatment processes, which are common urban challenges experienced all over the world. I hope that the study tour of Incheon waste management facilities and water treatment processes can provide participants with many lessons how these urban issues are being treated in an eco-friendly way and recycled as new renewable resources. I hope these experiences will help participants deal with similar challenges faced in their own municipalities and countries. I expect the study tour can help you have in-depth discussions on the implementation of SDGs during the entire symposium for 3 days. Ladies and gentlemen, now allow me to give you a brief overview of this 3-day symposium. First, today's theme is getting institutions organized for the implementation and the sustainable development goals in order to implement the SDGs in a more effective and efficient way in each country. Approaches of whole government and the whole of society are needed to implement SDGs, including a partnership between national institutions and the society. Second, tomorrow's discussion is on localizing the SDGs. The theme will focus on the implementation of SDGs as a local government level. For the discussion, we will focus on how to strengthen cooperation between the central and the local government as a detailed topic and what capacity is needed for local government officials to implement SDGs. Third, on the last day, plenary discussion will be focused on review of SDGs implementation and accountability at national level. Recently conducted by UNPO to frame common understanding of countries' effort to implement the SDGs across Asia and the Pacific and Eastern Africa. On the other hand, based on the results of the 3 days discussions, we will also adopt a common communique for final stage. Through this important and meaningful symposium, I hope the various ideas related to the implementation of the SDGs would be shared among us. Also, various examples of the known Korean government and other countries' best practices would be shared and benchmarked among each other. Through a comprehensive and in-depth discussion over the upcoming 3-day symposium, I hope the 17th agenda of the SDGs can be implemented and promoted at the national and the local level. Thereby, we can expect that by 2030, implementation of the SDGs would be achieved as scheduled. Finally, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude of all of you, including Jung Jae-gun, the head of UNPO, and his staff, for your hard work to prepare the symposium. Thank you very much.
And now, I would like to invite to the podium Ms. Marianne Barthélemy, Director of the Division of Public Administration and Development Management of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. Ms. Barthélemy, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency Vice Minister Shin Bo-kyun, Ambassador Kewon Hong, Your Excellency Ali Hamza, Your Excellency Minister Ismat Ara Sadiq, Excellencies Mr. Chung, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome warmly all of you to this symposium on behalf of the United Nations. It's really a great pleasure to be here in this city of Incheon, and I would like to start by thanking the hosts, the Minister of the Interior and Safety of Korea and the Incheon Metropolitan City Government for hosting this symposium in these beautiful surroundings. And I'm also very grateful to them for hosting the project office of our department, UNPOG, and for supporting the head, Mr. Chae-Boon Chang, and his very dynamic team. Just a few days ago, I had the honor to come to inaugurate the new offices of UNPOG, and I was with our Under Secretary General, Mr. Liu Zhenmin. He couldn't come today, unfortunately, but he asked me to convey his message and his wishes for a successful event. And I also would like to thank my colleagues from the UN Economic and Social Commission for the Asia Pacific and the UNDP for their support in this event. To us, the theme of this symposium is timely We will soon begin the third year in the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals were adopted by all the member states of the United Nations in September 2015. This agenda that we call the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, it has been summed up as a plan of action for people, planet and prosperity, and it also aims to strengthen peace and the global partnership. It's a really ambitious agenda. It aims at transforming the world by 2030. It commits to eradicating extreme poverty for all people everywhere. And the agenda applies to all countries, rich and poor. And it's guided by the principle to leave no one behind. And it aims to be peaceful, just and inclusive societies based on good governance at all levels. So this ambitious agenda really requires similarly ambitious national responses, and governments and public institutions are really at the heart of this response. The agenda makes it clear that they should be effective, accountable and inclusive to underpin the achievement of the whole of the 2030 agenda. And institutions themselves have a standalone goal, which is SDG 16. But precisely to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals, the institutions themselves need to profoundly transform. They need new capacities, new knowledge, to provide integrated support to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Often they need new ways of working, they need to open up more to people, to innovation, to new technologies, to better deliver public services and to promote inclusion. And they need to plan for the long term and for future generations, which is what the SDGs and sustainable development are about. To succeed, we also need to mobilize the men and women who work within those structures. The SDGs really need to capture the imagination of the public servants, and we need to galvanize the drive of the public servants to respond to the needs of people. We need really to overhaul their capacities in many countries to change the workflows, but also to change mindsets. And our symposium is precisely about this, how you mobilize, how you equip public institutions and the people that work for them and the whole of society to embark on the visionary endeavor that world leaders adopted in 2015. We've been already making good progress in implementing the SDGs, and this was very visible when we had the high-level political forum on sustainable development in the United Nations last July. We could see that many governments in the Asia-Pacific region have been adjusting and mobilizing their institutions at all levels to support the realization of the SDGs. They have been adapting the targets that are under the SDGs to their national situation. They have been incorporating them in their plans and policies. And in 2016, the year after the SDGs were adopted, there were already 22 countries who volunteered to come to the high-level political forum to conduct a review of what they are doing to implement the SDGs. And one of them was actually our host country, Korea. The following year, in 2017, there were 10 more countries in the Asia-Pacific region. The first year it was 4 from the region, and now we have more Asia-Pacific countries who volunteered to conduct those national reviews next year. Already we see that lessons and good practices are emerging from the implementation of the SDGs, but we also see challenges and we see areas where support is needed. And again, our symposium is also about this, exchanging lessons, what has worked, what hasn't worked, building capacities, and mobilizing support. My department has already organized 2 regional symposiums on equipping public institutions to implement the 2030 agenda. The first one was for Latin America and the Caribbean in 2016, and the second was for small island developing states in 2017. And next week we have a symposium in Addis Ababa for Africa, and we will report actually on the discussions that will take place here in Incheon. I really think that within the 3 coming days we can achieve a lot and move forward towards the SDGs. We will also look towards the future, and on Friday we will discuss the key messages from the discussions, and we will also discuss the kind of support that is available from the various organizations and countries to move towards the SDGs. To conclude, it's really befitting that we are meeting in Incheon, which is such a booming city full of energy and dynamism. And this is because we would like this symposium to launch a similarly dynamic endeavor to implement the SDGs in your region. Earlier, the minister asked, what do we think about when we think about Korea? And I think we think about many inspiring things, in particular the trajectory of Korea towards this smart and sustainable development that we see today. And I also hope that in the future, people, when they think about Korea, they might think about our symposium, as a moment that made a difference on the road towards the SDGs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barthelemy. And now, I would like you to please welcome Mr. Hong Ki-won, Ambassador for International Relations of Incheon Metropolitan City, also our gracious host.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ki-won Hong, Ambassador for International Relations of Incheon Metropolitan City. I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations on the opening of this International Symposium on SDGs. On behalf of 3 million Incheon citizens, I would like to warmly welcome the representatives from the central and local government in Asia-Pacific region and the international organizations and all the participants from various fields into Incheon City. Let me express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Shin Bo-kyun, Vice Minister of Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea, and Ms. Marion Barthelemy, Director of Division for Public Administration and Development Management of the UN, for jointly organizing and holding this meaningful event in Incheon City. The new Unpok premises just opened a few days ago on December the 1st in Songdo. I am particularly thankful to Dr. Jung Jae-geun, head of the Unpok, and all staff members for arranging this event in such a short period of time. Our Mayor Yu Jong-bok wished to join this important event. However, he could not be with us today due to a prior commitment. We ask for your kind understanding. As Korea's third largest city, Incheon is rapidly growing into a dynamic international city. The world-class international airports, seaport, and free economic zones have accelerated this growth. Especially here, Songdo City offers the best conditions for international organizations to operate. It provides excellent accessibility, cutting-edge convention facilities, and a pleasant working environment, we believe. Our city has worked hard to attract international organizations for a decade. As a result, today we can see Unpok Green Climate Fund, UNSCAP, and many other international organizations operating actively in our city. SDGs, the theme of this symposium, are closely linked to citizens. That is why the role of local governments is becoming more important in achieving the goals. Our city has prioritized sustainable development. We have introduced policies in many areas to implement the SDGs, including smart technologies for efficient urban management. I am informed that yesterday most of you visited IFED Smart City Operation Center, Environmental Cooperations of Incheon, and Disaster Management Center. I am confident that now you are well aware of our intense efforts for implementing SDGs. I hope that we will share good practices and opinions on the SDGs during this forum. I also look forward to seeing innovative ideas that will make the global community a better place to live. Thank you again for your participation. I want to conclude my remarks by wishing you have a joyful and useful time in Incheon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hong. Today, I would also like to note that we have the honor of two special keynote speakers. We would first like to invite Tan Sri Dr. Ali Hamza, Chief Secretary of the Government of Malaysia, to the podium for his first keynote.
His Excellency, Mr. Shin Bo-kyun, Vice Minister of the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, Republic of Korea, Ms. Marian Barthelemy, Director, Division for Public Administration and Development Management, United Nations, Department of Economic and Social Affairs, Mr. Hong Ki-won, Ambassador for International Relations, Incheon Metropolitan City, Her Excellency Ms. Ismat Ara Sadiq, Minister of State, Ministry of Public Administration, Bangladesh, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to all of you. It is my pleasure to be here in this beautiful city of Incheon, Republic of Korea. We were all welcomed by two different weather in 2 days. Yesterday was a cold weather. Today, Incheon has turned into a wonderful, beautiful snowland. I am happy to deliver this keynote address in this symposium on behalf of my nation, Malaysia. You heard the number 17169. It's not just any number. They reflect 17 goals and 186 targets, which convene all of us here today. We need to continuously engage in the conversation to resolve socio-economic and environment issues globally. Please allow me to first express my gratitude to the organizers for inviting me to share Malaysia's progress and aspirations in our journey in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. I would like to commend the Division for Public Administration and Development Management of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, UNDESA, and the Republic of Korea for organizing this symposium. On a personal capacity, I look forward to further advance the SDG agenda across United Nations Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, as well as Commonwealth Association of Public Administration and Management member states. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia embarked on sustainable development journey since 1970s, when our new economic policy was introduced, firstly to eradicate poverty and restructure societal imbalances, and the development is equitable across the various regions within Malaysia, in that the people should be able to access socio-economic opportunities as well as decent infrastructure and amenities, no matter where they reside in Malaysia. All the subsequent 5-year Malaysia development plans, which started in 1957, have encapsulated the essence of sustainable development. In 2009, our new economic model was formulated which further cemented Malaysia's commitment to pursue sustainable development. On 25 September 2015, Malaysia, alongside with other world leaders, adopted 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development. Today, I'm very pleased to say that Malaysia is on track towards achieving the Agenda 2030. I believe it is not by chance that we achieved higher growth of 6.2% in this third quarter of 2017, the highest in 3 years in Malaysia. In the same period, our national labor productivity also rose by 4.2%, higher than average annual growth of 3.7% set under our latest 5-year development plan, that's the 11th plan. Being people-centered, the solid economic growth will sustain the creation of more jobs, increase the people's income, and improve their well-being and quality of life. Ladies and gentlemen, the new normal represents the current reality, forging towards the future. We face new challenges which present us with new opportunities if we are able to harness and leverage our capabilities. Within the emerging disruptions, changing global landscapes, we need to future-proof policy and planning towards achieving the SDGs. As all of us are aware, SDG to be achieved in 2030 is a long period. We can expect a lot of changes in between. So we have to apply artificial intelligence, fourth industrial revolution, all the new development that's happening, Internet of Things, to be incorporated so that SDG remain relevant until 2030. In Malaysia, we co-created and co-developed our National Development Plan, integrating the global SDGs, rallying a whole of government and whole of society approaches. As a result, 6 strategic thrusts of the current 5-year plan were carefully mapped out against SDG targets accordingly with all stakeholders. They include enhancing inclusiveness towards an equitable society, improving well-being for all, accelerating human capital development for an advanced nation, pursuing green growth for sustainability and resilience, 5th, strengthening infrastructure to support economic expansion, and lastly, not least, re-engineering economic growth for greater prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, in our pursuit of great inclusiveness, measures were outlined to ensure equitable opportunities for all segments of the society, in particular, the bottom 40%, or we call it B40 households. This will be done through outcome-based and productivity-linked assistance, including entrepreneurship and skills training, technology adoption, asset ownership, and investment in improving connectivity and basic amenities. By 2020, we aim to double the average income for the B40 households from USD 700 per month in 2014 to USD 1,500 per month, elevating them nearer to the middle income group. The participation rate of women in the workforce will also be raised from 53% currently to 59% in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to approach SDGs locally with a global perspective and localized implementation. Scarcity remains. Resources are limited, but wants are unlimited or limitless. It takes creativity and innovation to maximize resources and ensure no one is left behind. Malaysia has successfully adopted the National Blue Ocean Strategy by integrating collaborative national SDG program together with all stakeholders, including representatives from public sector, government-linked companies, private sector, academia, international NGOs, development partners, and the public at large. Phased development of the Agenda 2030 will be governed by the National SDG Council, chaired by our Honorable Prime Minister. The Council will report SDG progress to the United Nations High-Level Political Forum. The Council is supported by the Steering Committee on SDG, chaired by the Director General of the Economic Planning Unit in the Prime Minister's Department. The Steering Committee consisting 5 SDG working committees or clusters will develop and implement approved SDG programs. Detailed mapping of strategies, action plans to specific measurable targets are outlined in our national SDG roadmap. Most recently, Malaysia has further intensified engagement with all segments of the society at an unprecedented scale for the preparation of the new aspiration vision. We have a new aspiration vision, that is the National Transformation 2050. In all, top-down vision and guidance meet bottom-up aspirations, bridging people and policymakers, bringing national consultation to greater heights, including stronger regional and international collaboration. Before I conclude, once again, I would like to accord my appreciation to the hosts and organizers who have worked hard to ensure the success of this symposium. I wish the symposium a great success and all guests and participants a most rewarding and impactful 3 days. Thank you.
Now, we would also like to welcome Her Excellency Ismat Ada Sadiq, Minister of State for the Ministry of Public Administration of Bangladesh, and invite her to the podium for her special keynote.
Honorable Vice Minister, His Excellency Mr. Bo Kyung-shim, Ministry of Interior and Safety, Republic of Korea, Mrs. Marion Bethelme, Director, UNDESA, Mr. Kyon Hong, Ambassador for International Relations, Incheon Metropolitan City, His Excellency Tan Sri Dr. Ali Hamza, Chief Minister, Malaysia, fellow panelists, distinguished guests and delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and very good morning to you all. It is an honor and privilege for me to be present here at this wonderful event in this beautiful city of Incheon. On behalf of the people and government of Bangladesh, I'd like to express sincere thanks to the UNPOG, UNDESA, the government of Republic of Korea and people of Korea for welcoming us to their beautiful country. I extend my warm thanks to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to address you today. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh is a shining example what is attainable when national policy meets tireless work to a local government level. Bangladesh has integrated the 17 SDG goals as defined at the 70th session of the United Nations General Assembly in 2014. These universal goals are articulated measures and especially dear to the people of Bangladesh, as the father of our nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, had envisioned a free and prosperous Bangladesh. He had called Bangladesh our Sonar Bangla. One could say that the principles of dignity, justice, prosperity, achieved through a partnership with the people and our planet are in our nation's DNA. Our transformative journey began in 2009 when the current elected government, led by our visionary leader, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, declared Vision 2021 for taking the country from low to a middle-income country by the year 2021 and are on track to becoming a developed nation by 2041. We are confident we shall attain our stated goals as our measures financial metrics have been steadily rising since 2009. Bangladesh has a sustained GDP growth of over 6% to the current published rate of 7.2% in 2017. Per capita income has increased 60% from $1,000 in FOI 2012 to $1,600. Reserves have doubled from $15 billion in 2012 to over $33 billion in August 2017. Exports have risen from $24 billion FY 2012 to $32 billion in FY 2015 and growing. Foreign direct investment has risen from $1.6 billion in 2014 to $2 billion in 2016. A recent survey by the Pew Research Center showed that the majority of Bangladeshis, or 71%, are happy with the economic health of the country. In Bangladesh, we have been proactive in our approach to achieving SDG goals, adopting 2030 agenda as a stepping stone and in leaving no one behind. We have taken a whole of society approach, ensuring participation from all stakeholders on our journey. We are including NGOs, development partners, the media, as well as the private sector in the formulation of an action plan and implementation of the SDG goals. We are completed mapping of ministries by clearly identifying the responsibilities of the ministries and agencies to achieve the SDGs. Bangladesh Planning Commission has identified data availability for 70 indicators, partial data for 108 indicators, and currently developing mechanisms for obtaining the data for the remaining 60 indicators. We are measuring the performance of individuals and ministries, agencies, using the annual performance agreement, a results-based performance management tool. We have developed an action plan for implementation of the SDGs in alignment with the 7th five-year plan with specific actionable targets. As a result, I am proud to announce we have made significant progress towards achieving each of the 17 SDG goals. SDG 1, poverty level have dropped from 24% in 2005 to 13% in 2016. For the extreme poor and the disadvantaged, Bangladesh is taking action to providing welfare at a sub-electoral administrative level called unions. We have providing welfare to the elderly, the physically and mentally challenged, widows and other disadvantaged groups. Our goal is to encourage independence by innovations and capacity building and reduce the number of welfare recipients to less than 10% by 2030. SDG 2, Bangladesh has achieved food self-sufficiency since 2014, the exception being this year due to untimely floods during agriculturally critical period. SDG 3, access to affordable healthcare at the union levels has resulted in increased life expectancy from below 50 to over 72 years, reduction in infant mortality 300% from 94 per 1,000 live births to 32 in 2016. SDG 4, access to education under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister is free till the 10th year of school. SDG 5, we have made tremendous strides in gender equality in all levels of society as elected members at the both local and national levels, at public administration, law enforcement, and the military. Access to reliable water source is at 87%, and the sanitation adoption is in rural areas have increased by almost 30%. The availability of electricity in Bangladesh is now at almost 90%, and in many rural areas, 100% of households have access to reliable electric power. Mobile phone adoption of over 75% and access to the internet at each of the 5,247 digital centers throughout the country has driven innovations in agriculture and eased the burdens of the citizens obtaining basic government services. One example is the ability of the citizen to send messages directly to the Prime Minister's office via mobile messaging. Bangladesh has launched a public SDG tracker, sdg.gov.bd, that provides real-time tracking and analysis of each SDG goals. In this journey, we have had to overcome many challenges, and many are still to come. We are facing uncertainties due to global climate change, natural disasters, and more currently, the Rohingya refugee crisis. We are facing financial burdens. By some estimate, an additional $1.5 trillion may be required to fully achieve our SDG goals. Cost of developing and maintaining climate-proof infrastructure, continued access to information, and growing needs of providing services to the citizens. I am encouraged by the many new innovative thinking articulated by the think tank in our country, which helps us for moving forward to achieve SDGs. Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that there is no alternative to deal with these challenges except to collaborate with our regional neighbors, our global partners, and other stakeholders at platforms such as this symposium. Groundbreaking innovations and ideas could be discussed in this forum that will be of great help to the countries still facing monumental challenges. A stable and sustainable Bangladesh will be a valuable contributor to forums such as this. Let me take this opportunity to wish that from this gathering, our efforts and partnership could be strengthened for sharing ideas and for making development initiatives in the related areas. I conclude by repeating the appeal for working together for maintaining the fundamental standard for certain of an environment conducive to investment and long-term and sustainable economic growth with equity. Finally, I may take this opportunity to congratulate the organizers and hope for successful completion of this symposium. I wish all of you return home with new ideas and new enthusiasm for the task of achieving sustainable development. Thank you all for providing me the opportunity again to share my thoughts and considerations. Thank you, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience and kindness. Please accept my sincere thanks to everyone today. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you very much, Minister Sadiq. With this, I would like to now conclude our opening ceremony, and we would like to invite our distinguished speakers, Your Excellencies, and all of you here today to the coffee break. But before that, I would like to note that the first 3 rows will be taken here to the stage and the podium to have a group photo. So I'd like to ask the first 3 rows and also the delegation of mayors here today to take the stage for the group photo. And the rest, I invite you to the coffee break as well. Thank you.